Big game this weekend. They play for the Victory Bell, and the game will be at Paycor Stadium at noon on Saturday. The Miami RedHawks coming to town to take on the UC Bearcats, and a real pleasure to be joined by the head coach at Miami of Ohio, Chuck Martin, who took over after leaving as offensive coordinator at Notre Dame and took over in 2014. Coach, you look like you're driving around. We're not going to cause an accident here for you, are we?
I hope not. I'm not a great driver normal, so we'll see if I can multitask here.
This weekend's game, you guys started your season. You played a tight one. You played Kentucky, a very good team, very, very tough. You guys were right there in it for most of the game. And then you come back and you get a win in week 2. The challenge this week when facing Cincinnati is what?
One, they're insanely talented. They've done such a good job recruiting there. They were as athletic as any team in the country, as they proved a year ago. I'm sorry about screwing my camera up there. I'm actually going to pull over so I don't crash here. And they're very well coached. They play really, really hard. They're really disciplined. You're playing a team that was top 4 in the country a year ago, gave Alabama all they could handle in the bowl championship game, and then obviously they're a tremendously gifted football team. They're, like I said, they'll be, my prediction, they'll be in the top 10 before this thing's all said and done this year too.
How do you feel about your team 2 weeks into the season?
Yeah, really like my team. The portal made it a little weird because we're all going through bigger transitions with losing some guys and adding some guys that 2-3 years ago wouldn't have been the case. But I really like my football team. I really like how we played against Kentucky. We went toe-to-toe with them in the first half, and anybody that watched that game, it was a very fair fight, and they are a big physical football team. And we did, we played them. Their speed got us, they got a kickoff out in space, and that'll be an issue again this week. Guy got a seam and left us, and again, just SEC receiver with the ball, and we couldn't run with them, and he turned in a hard 2-yard kickoff, which was a turning play in that game. But we really like it. Obviously, we lost our quarterback and our left tackle in our opener for the season, which I liked my team a whole lot more before that happened. But that we all go through injuries, and we've got a really solid football team. And the nice thing for us, we play these games. We play Cincinnati's, we play Kentucky's. We're at Northwestern next week. You get a real opportunity to see what you can and can't do when you're going against that caliber competition.
Coach, I got to tell you, reading up on you getting ready for this interview today, I did not know a lot about you until starting to read about you. You are a guy that I would love to have come on as part of our big interview. We call it on Wednesdays, which is like a 45-minute interview, because your history as both a player when you played college, you were an All-American safety. You were also an all-conference place kicker. You take over for Brian Kelly at Grand Valley. You win 2 national championships. You rip off a 48-game winning streak. You go to Notre Dame. You're the offensive coordinator. You go 12-0 that year and play in the national championship game. And now you've been at Miami for a number of years. I don't think there's any doubt they have found the right guy to lead this program. How do you feel about the state of the program right now? You got the big win last year in the bowl game, and you've had at least 500, the COVID thing and everything. But, I mean, you're clearly a program on the rise in the Mid-American Conference. There's no doubt about that. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we feel great about what we've rebuilt here. Miami's got a great football tradition. So when we took over 8 years ago, they lost 16 straight games. I always tell everybody the 2 years before I got here, my first 2 years at Miami, we were 4-26 in MAC play. We were on a stretch of 30 MAC games where we won 4 out of 30 MAC games. Since year 3 at Miami, the last 6 years I've been here, we're 30-13 in the MAC, which is 2 games better than anybody else in the MAC. So we've had the best record in the MAC over the last 6 years. We won the championship in 19. We lost by a point in overtime, or we'd have been right back in the MAC championship game in 21. We lost 48-47. We went for 2, didn't get it, or we would have been 19-21. And, the COVID year, we played 3 games, so we didn't have much of a chance to do much. So we could have been back-to-back in MAC championship games. So, we feel we're as strong as any program in the league. We've built this the right way. We've built this with young kids and let them grow up. Now with the portal, that's kind of changing. You're going to have to, we haven't done much with transfers, but when you lose some kids, you got to replace them with some kids. So we kind of managed that pretty good a year ago. We took some hits on defense with really good players. One of them we're going to play this weekend.
Yep.
Ivan Pace was a player that was in the MAC last year, and now he's playing for Cincinnati this year. So it's we're all going through this transition in the portal, and we played 5 defensive starters a week ago that were transfers to replace the Ivan Paces or the Lonnie Phelpses or the Cam Butlers, who 2 kids from Cincinnati and 1 kid from Covington Catholic, local kids that we recruited that the Power 5 did not want, and then after we were right on the recruitment, they decided they do want him after all. So it's you're going to have to deal with this, especially our league's going to have to deal with this, and you're going to have to reload at some positions each year, and it's just the nature of the beast right now.
Yeah, and one final thing. I mean, it's interesting you talk about the effects of the whole transfer portal, and here you are now where you're facing Ben Bryant as a quarterback, and it was last year that you're facing him when he's playing in the Mid-American Conference.
We faced him as a backup at Cincinnati. Then we faced him as a starter at Eastern Michigan. Then we faced him as a starter at Cincinnati. So yeah, and Ivan Pace picked off Ben Bryant last year, which is unique. Ivan Pace playing for Miami picked off Ben Bryant playing for Eastern Michigan. Now we're playing Ivan Pace and Ben Bryant in Cincinnati. So different. Again, people ask, everybody has their opinion on this. I always say, no one asked my opinion, so I don't really care. They give us the rules and we play by the rules, and the rules are these kids can transfer wherever we want. So you can either complain about and whine about it, or you can manage it. And again, did we want to lose some really good players in the portal? No, you don't want to lose really good players, but you also know that's an opportunity, and they made that choice. So now you have to try to do your own work in the portal to compensate for it. And we did a good year one. We did a really good job with that.
Well, Coach, we'd love to have you back when the season's over. We'll come up and pick you up there in Oxford, bring you down here to Hamilton, Ohio, and our studios and hang out and have a lengthy chat. Good luck this weekend. I can't root for you against my Ohio University Bobcats, being an OU guy. Boy, do we miss Frank Solich there. Good Lord. But good luck the entire season.
They'll be okay. So it's tough for me because I'm a Chicago guy. I'm a Cub fan. I am an old Reds fan back in the days of the Big Red Machine, so I was a fan of your dad. So more of my friends are excited that I told them that you're interviewing me today, and I have so many people in Chicago that were like, no way you're getting it. So I appreciate it, but I'd love to be back, and you don't even have to pick me up. If you have me on a slot and after the season, I'll jog to Hamilton to hang out with you guys.
I was going to bring up the Chicago thing because my sister has raised her family there, and I just love that place. And you're a Chicago guy. I mean, you can tell by talking to you for 3 minutes. You're like a lot of buddies of mine that I made through the years living there. And best of luck to you, Coach Martin. Really appreciate your time today. I know you're very, very busy, and good luck on Saturday.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Tom.
Okay. Chuck Martin, head coach, Miami of Ohio. Really appreciate him taking the time to do it. It's hard to get coaches, man. It's hard. We try to get, the Luke Fickles of the world. Haven't reached out to Ryan Day yet, but we will. And these guys are just consumed 24/7 on football. So, I mean, you catch Chuck Martin, you catch him in his car, and that was really cool of him to do it.